This story is about a 26-year-old girl named Emily Carter. Emily Carter booked a ride home just before midnight, and for the first few minutes, everything followed the route exactly as expected. Beat? But somewhere along the drive, the destination changed. Quiet pause. She never updated it. Beat slower. And by the time she noticed, the car was already taking her somewhere else. The rain had only just started when Emily Carter stepped out of the building, holding her phone close to her chest so the screen wouldn't blur under the damp air. The streets were still active, still normal, cars passing, distant voices, the steady hum of a city refusing to sleep. She booked the ride as anyone else would. No hesitation. No second thought. The driver matched instantly. 4.9 rating. Verified profile. A clean car photo that matched the model pulling up minutes later. Even the license plate aligned perfectly with what was displayed on the app. Everything looked correct. Too correct. The vehicle arrived exactly on time, headlights cutting through the rain like a slow, careful search. It rolled to a stop in front of her without slowing too early or too late, precise, practiced. The door unlocked. Inside, the cabin was quiet in a way that felt intentional. No music. No radio static. Just the faint sound of rain pressing against glass. The driver didn't look back when she entered. No greeting. No acknowledgement. Not even a simple hello. Emily paused for half a second. Settling into the seat, watching the road ahead through the wet windshield. The wipers moved in a steady rhythm. Left. Right. Left. Right. The car pulled away from the curb. And only then, after several seconds of silence, did the route on the phone refresh once. Then twice. Just small adjustments at first. Almost nothing. Almost normal. It wasn't immediate. Nothing sudden. Nothing loud. Just a quiet that settled into the car and stayed there longer than it should have. There was no music. No low radio playing in the background. No idle conversation. No attempt to confirm her name or destination. The driver kept both hands on the wheel, posture steady, eyes forward. The rearview mirror sat slightly angled, just enough that it didn't fully reflect the back seat. Not enough to seem deliberate, but enough to notice. Emily adjusted her position slightly, expecting at least a glance. There wasn't one. The only consistent sound came from the windshield wipers. Left. Right. Left. Right. And the rain is slowly building. The GPS voice broke the silence. Proceed straight for 1 mile. A few seconds passed. Then it repeated. Same tone. Same pacing. Proceed straight for 1 mile. Emily's eyes flicked to her phone. The map hadn't changed. She waited. The voice didn't correct itself. Instead, proceed straight for 1 mile. Again. She frowned slightly, her thumb hovering over the screen. Then the ETA shifted. 12 minutes. She watched it. It jumped. 19 minutes. No turn. No traffic alert. No visible delay. Then, 8 minutes. The route line pulsed faintly, like it was trying to settle on something. Emily leaned back slowly, her attention no longer drifting. Now she was watching. The windows began to fog at the edges. Not completely, just enough to soften the outside world into blurred streaks of light and shadow. Emily lifted her hand and wiped a small section clear. Outside, the street looked different. Less crowded than it should have been. Fewer headlights. Fewer buildings with lights on. The rain grew heavier, hitting the roof and glass with a thicker, more constant pressure. It sounded closer now. As if the car wasn't fully sealed from it. She glanced forward. The road stretched ahead, longer than expected between turns. No pedestrians. No parked cars. No movement beyond the narrow path of the headlights. The GPS spoke again. Proceed straight. A pause. Then, proceed straight. Same direction. Same distance. No change. Emily swallowed, her voice barely above a whisper. Okay. It wasn't fear. Not yet. Just awareness sharpening, piece by piece. The kind of quiet that makes every detail feel louder than it should. The kind that makes you start keeping track of things you wouldn't normally notice. Like how long a road feels. Or how still someone can sit. Or how a simple ride home can begin to feel. Slightly off. At first, it looked like a correction. Nothing unusual for a navigation system. A slight recalculation. A new instruction. Turn left in 300 meters. The voice was calm. Precise. Familiar. The driver didn't react. The car continued straight. No indicator. No braking. No hesitation. Just forward movement. Emily watched it happen in real time, expecting the route to adjust again, to compensate like it always did. It did, but not in the way she expected. The line on the map shifted slightly, then accepted the deviation without protest. A shortcut, she told herself. That had to be it. A faster route through quieter streets. That explanation held for a moment. Then it happened again. Turn right. A clear instruction. The car passed the junction without slowing. No correction. No recalculation sound. No change in behavior from the driver. Still forward. Still steady. Emily leaned forward slightly, eyes narrowing at the screen. The route recalculated again, but instead of rerouting around the missed turn, it simply bent the line forward, absorbing the mistake as if it were part of the plan. She shifted in her seat. The silence inside the car felt heavier now, not just quiet, but withheld. Something is not being explained. She broke it first. Hey, is this a faster route? Her voice sounded smaller than she intended. The driver didn't answer. Not immediately. Not at all. But in the rearview mirror, something changed. A slight movement at the corner of his mouth. Not a full smile. Just the beginning of one. Held for too long. Not warm. Not reassuring. Just there. And then gone. The rain thickened outside. The windows blurred and cleared in uneven cycles, as if the weather itself couldn't decide what the car should be passing through. Emily looked back at her phone. The map showed a main road. A familiar artery of the city. Street names she recognized. Landmarks she knew existed. But when she lifted her gaze, none of it was there. No main road. No bright intersections. No traffic lights. Just a narrow stretch of dark, unfamiliar pavement stretching forward without reference points. The buildings had thinned out completely. Replaced by shapes that didn't settle into anything specific. Too distant. Too inconsistent. Her grip tightened slightly around the phone. Her breathing slowed, not from calm, but from attention sharpening into something precise. That's when she noticed it. A simple, impossible mismatch. The map and the road didn't match anymore. Emily didn't look away from the phone at first. She needed something stable. Something that still made sense. So she checked the driver profile again. The same 4.9 rating. The same verified badge. The same neutral face in the photo. But now, under the dim glow of the screen and the flickering light from passing reflections, she noticed something she hadn't before. The resemblance was correct. But not exact. The eyes felt slightly misaligned with the image. The smile in the photo seemed more defined than what was in front of her. Like the version on the screen had settled into place more convincingly than the person sitting ahead. She blinked once. Then again. trying to dismiss it as lightning. The phone suddenly flickered. A brief signal drop. The icon at the top vanished completely for a second too long. The car kept moving. The rain kept falling. The driver didn't react. Then, the signal returned. But something else had changed with it. The map redrew itself instantly. Not a correction. A replacement. The route no longer followed the same structure. Roads Emily recognized were gone. Replaced by a single continuous line cutting through areas she didn't remember selecting. The destination label has been updated. Once. Then again. Like it couldn't decide what it was supposed to be called. Emily's fingers tightened around the phone. Her voice came out quieter than she expected. I never touched my phone, but the destination changed. The words hung in the air longer than they should have. Even the sound of the rain seemed to pause for a fraction of a second afterwards. That was when the driver spoke. For the first time. No turning. No hesitation. Just a calm voice, steady and level. The map doesn't always know where you need to go. The sentence didn't feel like reassurance. It didn't feel like an explanation either. It felt final in a way that didn't invite response. Emily sat back slightly. Her eyes shifted to the door. Then the lock indicator. It was engaging. She hadn't done it. She pressed the unlock button. Nothing. Again. Nothing. A second press. Still nothing. The handle didn't respond either. She tried the window control. No movement. No sound. No feedback. Just silence confirming the absence of control. The phone dropped the signal again. This time it didn't come back immediately. The screen dimmed slightly as if conserving something it no longer trusted. Outside, the environment changed without announcement. Streetlights disappeared first. One by one. Not flickering. Not failing. Just absent. Then buildings faded into the rain-heavy distance, losing shape until they were no longer distinguishable from the night itself. Now there was only the road. A narrow strip of wet asphalt stretches forward. And the rain. Constant. Uninterrupted. Pressing down from above with no variation. Emily turned her head slowly toward the window. Nothing familiar remained outside. No intersections. No signs. No anchors to place herself within anything she recognized. Just movement forward into something that no longer offered context. And the car kept going. The road ahead stopped behaving like a road. It didn't end abruptly. It simply faded. As if the darkness ahead had decided it no longer needed to continue being defined. The car began to slow. Not sharply. Not with a warning. Just a gradual reduction in motion, like something unseen had taken its foot off the concept of movement itself. Emily felt it before she fully understood it. The engine's hum softened. The tires rolled more quietly against the wet ground. Then, stillness. Complete stop. No impact. No destination marker. No visible reason. Just darkness in every direction beyond the headlights' reach. Inside the car, the silence changed again. It wasn't the same silence from earlier. This one had weight. Presence. Like the space itself had tightened. Emily didn't move at first. Neither did the driver. Then, the driver adjusted. Slowly. Deliberately. He turned around. Not quickly like a normal glance. Not casually like checking a passenger. It was a full rotation. Controlled. Unhurried. As if the motion had been rehearsed long before this moment. His face came into view. And something about it didn't align properly. The expression arrived slightly late, as though it had to catch up to itself. The eyes didn't settle on Emily directly. Not fully. Not clearly. They hovered near her, just off-center, refusing a precise focus. And then, a smile formed. Not wide. Not emotional. Just structured. Placed. Too consistent to feel natural. Too still to feel human. His voice came softly. Almost conversational. "You're not the first one who followed the map." The words didn't echo. They didn't need to. They felt like they already belonged inside the car before they were spoken to. Emily's phone lit up suddenly. Bright against the darkness. She looked down instinctively. A notification. Trip completed. Below it, a rating prompt appeared. 5 stars. 4 stars. 3 stars. Waiting. As if the journey had already finished without her consent. Her eyes stayed on the screen. Slowly, she lifted her gaze again. Still inside the car. Still in the stopped vehicle. Still in the same moment. Nothing had changed physically. And yet, the system believed otherwise. Another notification appeared. No sound this time. Just vibration. Driver arriving in 2 minutes. Emily stared at it. Then at the driver. Then at the empty road ahead that no longer looked like a road at all. The contradiction didn't resolve. It simply existed. 2 truths occupy the same space. A completed trip. And an arrival that had not yet happened. The silence after that moment didn't break. It simply continued. Long after the driver's last words settled in the air, long after the phone's glow faded, no movement from either side of the car could explain what came next. And then, it ended. Not with resolution. Not with clarity. Just absence.